Most men think confidence is something women notice when you speak. But the truth is, she notices it long before you ever say a single word. And sometimes, in the first 10 seconds of seeing you, she already knows whether you're the kind of man she feels drawn to or the kind she'll slowly lose interest in. That's the part men never see. Because confidence isn't loud. It's not about acting alpha. It's not about flexing money, muscles, or pretending not to care. Real confidence leaks through tiny behaviors most men don't even realize they're showing. And tonight, I'm going to tell you exactly what women secretly notice in your confidence, the things she sees instantly, even when she never says it out loud. But stay with me until the end, because the last two signs are the ones that completely change how women emotionally respond to you. And most men fail them without even realizing it. Let's begin. The first thing women notice about your confidence is how comfortable you are with silence. Most men panic in silence. The second a conversation slows down, they rush to fill the space. They start over-explaining, joking too much, talking too fast, or trying desperately to keep her entertained. But here's what actually happens. When a man can sit calmly in silence without looking nervous, it creates emotional tension. It feels grounded, safe, masculine. Imagine this. You're sitting across from a woman on a date. There's a small pause in conversation. One man immediately starts rambling because he's terrified of losing her attention. Another man simply smiles, takes a sip of his drink, and stays relaxed. That second man feels emotionally stronger. Why? Because silence exposes insecurity, and confidence stays calm inside it. And this is where everything changes. Women don't just listen to your words. They study your emotional reactions, which leads to the next thing women notice instantly: your need for approval. Most men don't realize how obvious it is when they desperately want validation. Women notice it in the way you constantly seek reassurance, the way you laugh too hard at her jokes, the way you change your opinions to match hers, the way your entire mood depends on whether she texts back quickly. At first, it may seem harmless, but emotionally, it tells her something dangerous. It tells her you don't fully value yourself. And a man who doesn't value himself eventually becomes emotionally exhausting. But confident men are different. They enjoy women without emotionally collapsing around them. They don't beg for attention. They don't force attraction. They don't perform for approval. And strangely enough, that calm self-respect is exactly what makes women lean closer. But what women notice next is even more powerful. The way you react when things don't go your way. This is one of the biggest hidden tests women unconsciously watch. Because confidence isn't revealed when life feels easy. It's revealed during pressure. When the waiter gets your order wrong. When plans change unexpectedly. When someone disagrees with you. When she challenges you emotionally. Most men become irritated, defensive, passive-aggressive, or insecure. But confident men stay emotionally steady. And trust me, women notice this immediately. Because emotional control feels rare today, a man who can remain calm without losing his composure feels powerful without trying to dominate anyone. And what happens next is something most men miss. Women begin imagining what life with you would emotionally feel like. Would you become unstable during hard moments? Would small problems destroy your mood? Would she constantly have to manage your emotions? These questions happen silently in her mind. And your reactions answer them. Now, here's something women almost never say out loud. Confidence shows in your pace. Watch insecure men carefully. They rush everything. They rush texting. They rush relationships. They rush physical intimacy. They rush conversations because they fear losing the opportunity. But confident men move differently. There's patience in them, not because they're playing games, but because they don't operate from desperation. And women feel that difference deeply. A confident man can enjoy the moment without trying to force an outcome. That energy feels emotionally magnetic because desperation creates pressure, but confidence creates space. And space is where attraction grows. But the next point might upset some men. Women notice how you treat people who cannot benefit you. This reveals more about your confidence than your clothes ever will. Most men try to impress women directly while ignoring everyone else around them. But women watch everything. The way you speak to waiters, cashiers, drivers, friends, even strangers. Because real confidence doesn't need to disrespect others to feel important. Insecure men often use arrogance as a disguise. Confident men don't, and this is where everything changes. Women begin separating fake confidence from real confidence. Fake confidence is loud. Real confidence feels calm. Fake confidence seeks attention. Real confidence doesn't need to announce itself. And once a woman feels that difference, she never forgets it. Now let me tell you something most men completely overlook. Women notice your relationship with attention. A confident man doesn't need to become the center of every room. He doesn't interrupt constantly. He doesn't dominate every conversation. He doesn't desperately try to prove he's important. And ironically, those are usually the men women notice the most. Because secure energy feels effortless. There's something mysterious about a man who knows his worth without advertising it every second. And what I'm about to tell you next might completely change how you see attraction. Women are often drawn less to what you say and more to how you make them feel emotionally around you. That emotional feeling matters more than perfect lines. Which brings us to another hidden sign of confidence. Your ability to stay authentic. Most men shapeshift around attractive women. Suddenly their personality changes, their opinions change, their behavior changes, and women can sense it instantly. Even if she smiles politely, emotionally she stops trusting you because authenticity feels safe. Performance feels manipulative. Confident men aren't afraid to disagree respectfully. They're not afraid to show individuality. They're not terrified of losing approval. And that emotional honesty creates attraction most men can't fake. Now, before we continue, I want you to ask yourself something honestly. When you're around women you really like, do you become more relaxed or more performative? Because your answer explains a lot more about your confidence than you think. And if you've noticed yourself doing some of these things, don't panic. Most men were never taught real confidence. They were taught performance. But the next sign women notice is incredibly important. Your eye contact. Not intense staring, not dominance tricks from the internet. Real eye contact. The kind that feels calm, warm, and emotionally present. Insecure men often avoid eye contact because they fear judgment. Others overdo it because they're trying to appear powerful. But confident eye contact feels natural. It says, I'm comfortable seeing you and being seen by you. That emotional openness creates connection. And women notice it faster than men realize. Because eyes reveal emotional state more honestly than words ever can. But here's where things get deeper. Women also notice how confident you are with your own life. This one silently affects attraction more than almost anything else. A man who has purpose, routines, direction, goals, and emotional stability feels attractive because his identity doesn't depend entirely on women. He has his own center. Most men don't realize this, but when your entire happiness depends on female attention, women feel the pressure of it immediately, and pressure slowly kills attraction. Confident men enjoy love without making it their only source of meaning. That independence feels emotionally secure, and this leads to one of the most powerful things women notice. How you handle rejection. This is the moment that exposes almost every man. Some men become angry, some become bitter. Some immediately insult the woman to protect their ego. Others emotionally collapse and blame themselves for weeks. But confident men understand something important. Rejection is not proof of worthlessness. And women deeply notice men who can handle rejection with maturity instead of emotional chaos. Because confidence isn't believing every woman will choose you. Confidence is knowing you'll still respect yourself even if she doesn't. And honestly, that mindset alone separates emotionally attractive men from emotionally draining ones. Now we've reached the final two signs. And these are the ones women remember the longest. The first, women notice whether your confidence changes when other men enter the room. This is huge. A lot of men appear confident until another attractive, successful, charismatic man shows up. Then suddenly they compete, show off, seek attention harder, or become quieter and insecure. But confident men don't panic over competition because their self-worth isn't built on being better than everyone else. And women feel incredibly safe around men who don't constantly need to prove dominance. That emotional security feels rare. But the final thing women notice in your confidence is whether you truly accept yourself. And this is where everything changes. Because deep down, women can feel when a man secretly hates himself, even if he hides it with money, status, humor, muscles, or fake confidence. Self-rejection always leaks out eventually, through jealousy, neediness, control, overthinking, fear of abandonment. But men who genuinely accept themselves move differently. They don't chase validation constantly. They don't crumble over every opinion. They don't need to pretend to be someone else. And being around that energy feels emotionally freeing. Because real confidence isn't perfection, it's self-acceptance. That's the secret most men spend years misunderstanding. And the craziest part? Women notice it almost immediately. So if you take anything from this video, remember this. Women are not just looking at your looks, money, or status. They're studying your emotional energy, your reactions, your calmness, your self-respect, your emotional stability. Because confidence isn't something you say. It's something people feel when they're around you. And once you understand that, your entire dating life changes. So tell me in the comments, which of these confidence signs do you think most men struggle with the most? And if you made it this far, subscribe for more videos exposing the hidden psychology of attraction, confidence, and female nature that most men never hear about. Because what women notice first is almost never what men expect.